Dan Davis, PGA Head Professional here at the Chase Golf and Country Club, and today I want to talk to you about how you can improve your score through better course management. We're going to go through 3 tips that I've got, 3 focus areas that's guaranteed to improve your score while you're out on the course by playing no better, just by managing what you're doing in a better way. So tip number 1, you need to know 2 distances, one that is around 100 yards and the second that is around 150 yards. Now, the importance of this is to make sure that when you're on the golf course, you can plan to those 2 yardages. You can then practice those 2 yardages. And what you'll find is you won't have put yourself in that position where you've got an uncomfortable yardage of 50, 60 yards or 40 yards that you haven't practiced and you're not too comfortable with. So tip number 1, make sure that you've got 2 yardages, one that's around 150 yards, one that's around 100 yards, to make sure that we can plan to that number. Tip number 2, so focus point number 2, is making sure that when you're managing your hole, when you're planning your round, that you start from the green and work backwards. So when we start at the green, we can then plan to those 2 yardages. You can then plan to avoid hazards such as bunkers, such as water hazards, anything that's going to potentially cause you any problems. And then what you'll find is not necessarily all of the time driver is the correct club for you to hit off the tee. So it's really important. Obviously, tip number 1 is extremely important, that you make sure that you've got your 2 yardages. Tip number 2 builds on that, and then what we focus on is making sure that when you're planning the hole, you plan backwards from green to tee. So let's say, for instance, my perfect yard is 130 yards. I've got a hole in front of me that's 350 yards. I know that I need to hit off the tee the club that's going to leave me my ideal yardage. Tip number 3 is make sure you stick to your plan, stick to your strategy. A round of golf is a marathon, it's definitely not a sprint. So if you have one bad hole, because they are going to happen, stick to your plan. Don't try and go chasing it on the next immediate hole. Hope that helps. Drop any comments below, give me some feedback, and just let me know what you would like to see, any advice, any tips, anything like that. So hope it helps. Any questions, let me know.